Now to Europe, where a missile attack on the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv has injured at least 4 people and caused several blazes, according to the city's mayor Vitaly Klitschko. 2 days after a Russian strike killed 18 people in President Volodymyr Zelensky's hometown. Mayor Vitaly Klitschko said paramedics had been sent to 2 districts in Kyiv, while the Ukrainian Air Force said missiles had entered the northern Checheniv region. According to reports, 4 people have been injured so far, while fires broke out in non-residential areas and 8 cars were damaged. Here's what residents had to say.
Что у тебя там горит, и заходи, ховайся там подальше. Все, я даже не понимаю, що то эти дрони ті, чи що воно там літає. Щось гуде та й гуде. Що воно там залетіло, щоб розбило там шифер, і тут вилетіло он до сусідів. Ну і що, шибки повилітали там раз.
In the aftermath, a huge crater was seen in an office building with debris scattered around and smoke rising in the distance. All of Ukraine was under air alerts after the country's air force warned of an attack, including on regions bordering Poland, forcing the NATO member to scramble aircraft to ensure air safety. Poland's military said it and allied forces had taken to the skies in response to Russian strikes across the border in western Ukraine, with ground-based air defense systems on high alert. The attacks come as US President Donald Trump pushes for a partial ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. On Saturday, Zelensky slammed the US embassy for what he called a weak statement that did not blame Russia for the deadly missile strike on his home city of Kryvyi Rih. The Ukrainian president took aim at the US ambassador Bridget Brink after she posted a message on X on Friday saying she was horrified that tonight a ballistic missile struck near a playground and restaurant. In an emotional statement on social media, Zelensky had named each of the 9 children killed in the attack and accused the US embassy of avoiding referring to Russia as the aggressor. The Ukrainian president did, however, show his gratefulness to every country whose representatives spoke out following the Russian missile strike on his hometown. Let's take a look at what he said.
І сьогодні багато хто у світі заявив про свою позицію після цього удару, позицію чіткого несприйняття російського терору. Всім, хто це бачить і не заплющує очі, а говорить чітко і ясно правду, не тільки ми в Україні, а весь світ має бути вдячним. Замовчувати те, що це саме Росія вбиває дітей балістикою, це неправильно, це небезпечно, це тільки підбурює покидьки в Москві. Продовжувати війну та надалі ігнорувати дипломатію. Слабкість ще ніколи не закінчувала війни. Тому я вдячний кожній країні, чиї представники висловились. Лідери, міністри закордонних справ, посольства.
The president also met British and French military chiefs in Kyiv on Friday to discuss a plan to send a reassurance force to Ukraine if and when a deal on ending the conflict is reached. Zelensky wrote on social media that the meeting, when the British Chief of Defence Staff Tony Radakin and his French counterpart Thierry Burkhard agreed the first details on how the security contingent of partners can be deployed. We are joined by Glenn Grant, ex-advisor of Defence Minister of Ukraine, located in Riga, Latvia, to discuss this further. Glenn, thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure. Obviously, it's been a tough couple of days in Ukraine, especially with the strike, the Russian strikes that killed 19 yesterday, including 9 children in Zelensky's hometown. Can you give the immediate impact of this Russian missile strike on both military and civilian morale in the country of Ukraine right now?
Yeah, and I'm actually in Kiev this week. So I was under the attack last night, and in fact one of the missiles was actually killed right above my the place I'm staying. So set off all the car alarms, and the noise was and the vibration was pretty significant. And that I think that the actual missile probably came down on one of those areas that you were talking about. The mood here is one of stubbornness, frustration with the American, and you saw what with the Americans, and you saw what Zelensky had actually said. But you know the people are actually taking it with a degree, in English we'd say a pinch of salt to the whole thing, and you know some of the things that were written this morning are now calling them missiles of peace, because this is how they view the word peace and Russians' aggression and attacks. I mean, everybody is really sad about what happened in, as you say, in Zelensky's hometown, and the flags here are all at half-mast because of that, and it's indicative of everything. But stubbornness and a desire not to give in to Russia still remain the primary drivers in this part of the world.
Glenn, Ukraine obviously is needing statements of support, but Western leaders are also pushing for peace negotiations, especially obviously one Donald Trump of the United States. What challenges do you see in balancing calls for immediate condemnation of Russia with the desire for a ceasefire or peace deal?
Well, I don't see any. I think the thing that people have to understand is that, especially Indians, is that they must look at not what people say, but what is actually happening. Russia is showing no signs whatsoever of going for a peace deal. This is not some great push so that they're in advantage and then suddenly they're going to give in to US. They're not. Everything they are doing is setting themselves up for a long-term attack and fight on Ukraine, and the idea of a peace deal is actually a distraction, and it's a distraction. When you see people like two chiefs of defense from France and Britain going to Ukraine and talking about what we will do when there's a peace deal, that is a total distraction. Taking people's minds and eyes away from the real problem, which is facing up to Russia. Distraction means Russia will keep moving forward because there will be no peace deal suddenly in a hurry. I'm pretty sure of that. So I don't think there's a problem with this. It's just that people have got to come to the realization of the reality of what is happening, not the hope, because hope is not a military principle. It's not even a political, diplomatic principle. It's stupidity in this case. Russia attacks, Russia kills, Russia keeps going. As long as we keep that in mind, then everything else has got to be based upon that.
Glenn Grant, thank you very much for joining us. Very glad you are safe. We now have to move on.